Very welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the beautiful Sino International Cricket Ground, the home of Japanese cricket, nestled in Tochigi Prefecture. This picturesque venue has witnessed some thrilling contests over the years, and today promises no different as the Falcons take on the men in blue in what should be a fascinating encounter. The conditions look excellent for cricket. The outfield is quick, the pitch appears hard and with short boundaries square of the wicket, the batters will certainly fancy the chances. But as we have seen here before at Sun, disciplined bowling and smart field placement can quickly turn the tide. The Falcons win the toss and elect to bat first, as we see that the players are out in the middle. The anticipation is building around the ground, and we are all set for another exciting chapter of cricket from Sun of Falcons versus Men in Blue. One game, two ambitious sides, and 40 overs that will make all the difference. Sit back and enjoy the action. This is your commentator Piyush Nathani coming to you. And as the field is set, the bowler will begin the run up, and the wait is finally over. From Sano International Cricket Ground, it's time for cricket. Singh with the new ball. And the first ball is a wide one. Well, that will kill us a little. Well, another swing and another wide delivery. So some runs are off straight away for Falcons. As Siddharth CP, the wicketkeeper, the player on strike. And now played in the air, the infield. Well, will that find fence? It is trickling away, and yes, it has just enough legs on it. And the first legitimate delivery of the innings has gone away to the fence. Nicely placed through the offside, and some runs after the first delivery itself. Excellent timing and placement. And now keeping it away from the arc of the batter, and once again another wide delivery. We have seen quite a few of those already. He's trying to keep it away from the arc of the batter and process. He's giving away some extra runs. He's bowled four deliveries, you're seeing, and only one of them is the legitimate one. Three wides conceded. This time he drives and it's gone straight to the fielder. Once again, just left alone. So much better deliveries there. Right then, the earlier game, well, it was won comfortably by Tokyo Titans, winning that one by 71 runs. That match number five. We are into match number six now of this Japan Cricket League, and that's another wide delivery. Four wides conceded now, and just not able to get his radar right at the moment. This time picked up on the leg side, but once again straight to the fielder. And that's another wide delivery, the fifth one of this very first over. He's struggling out, you're seeing now, for the men in blue. And now he pushes it on the offside. But it's in the gap as well. They should be able to come back for the second, and they do so quite comfortably. But you can see the players out there of the Japan Women's Premier League. It is starting tomorrow out here at the Sun International Cricket Ground. So more cricketing action for you coming to you live tomorrow onwards. It will be an action-packed week before that big finale on the 31st. And this time played on the leg side. Well, nonetheless, that is the end of the first over now, with a score at 12 without a wicket for the Falcons. Right then, Shradhonkar will continue now in the second. 12 runs came of the first. And that's a swing and a miss to start off. Siddharth CB, the man on strike. Uh, Good piece of bowling this. A couple of dots to start off and trying to pull things back of the number of wides that were given away. Once again, nicely guided. So finally, we will see Anand on strike now. And the Falcons, well, they're off to a decent start here. 13 without a wicket. Well, historically, the men in blue do have a slightly better record up against the Falcons. They are starting in this one as the favourites. As we see another wide bowled. This time it was Shridhonkar. And Anand, well, straight away wanting to go big. Through the offside. And this time in appeal, well, for a moment it felt as if the umpire might just raise his finger. He's not quite done that. Excellent delivery once again by Shridhonkar. Well, he isn't offering much at the moment to Anand. And once again, just pushed on the offside, and that's gone straight to the fielder. So that is now the end of the second, with the score at 14 without a wicket. Well, we continue in this third over, and in the air and gone. He's taken the catch. Well, Siddharth CB will have to depart. That's the first one gone for the Falcons. A lash wanting to play that one through the offside. And it's a beautiful, beautiful take by the fielder out there. Expertly judged. And the first one gone is 14 for 1. Well, that was a very good over by Singh. 15 for 1 now. Kakkar is off the mark straight away. He's on one of three deliveries and he has the strike now. Well, Anand is yet to get off the mark and it's a slow start this for the Falcons. Well, the first over was a decent one for them, although they were aided with some wides. But now things are starting to look bleak once again for them. This time played on the leg side. We're not sure what he was appealing for because there was definitely bat first. Well, the bowlers always feel they are about to get a wicket, aren't they? Shirdonkar, the man on that occasion. And Kakkar takes another single, brings Anand on strike, who is yet to get off the mark here. Once again, just pushed on the leg side for a quick single. And this time wanting to drive that one, Kakkar. And he's missed out. Well, the power play overs are usually more or less the crucial ones in the T20 format, of course, because you need to try and get off to a good start, especially with the bat. If you get somewhere around 50 without losing a wicket or maybe only one, you would fancy yourselves to be at a good start. Other than that, anything other than that is a good start for the bowling side. And at the moment, it seems like the men in blue are the ones on top at the moment. 3.4 overs in, only 17 on the board, just the one boundary so far, which had come off the bat of Siddharth CB, who is back in the pavilion now. Well, this time offered width in the air and just short of the fielder there. Well, that could have been number two almost. Once again, beautifully bowled. It was the slower one, trying to keep it away from the arc of the bat, and he did. And he did really well, almost purchasing a wicket out there. So one more delivery left now in this fourth. And it's been pushed straight to the fielder. So that is now the end of the fourth over with the score at 17 for 1 for the Falcons. Well, starting off with the wide delivery there. Singh once again he got the breakthrough in his on his very first delivery, in fact. And now he goes big. Kakkar. Has he got the distance? Well, not quite so. It's one bounce and over the rope, but an excellent shot. In fact, it's Anand who was on strike, and that's the second boundary of this innings. Well, trying to push on here and trying to get a move on the Falcons. A fuller length delivery and very quick to get underneath it, and hits that one ever so well. As you see, the umpire signaling that as a boundary. Well, now very close to finding the outside edge. Well, that is what Singh does. Just playing a bit with the mind of the batter, and it's more like setting up the batter rather than just trying to take those wickets. You need to set the batter up to play a kind of a shot which you want him to play, where he can make a mistake maybe, and give away his wicket. And once again, it is straight, and it's nicely done by Singh. Now it's been cut away straight to the fielder. Now this time could have been overthrows, won't be. That's four consecutive dots now for Singh. Once again, beautifully bowled. So that is now the end of the fifth over with the score at 22 for 1. Well, we're into the last over of the power play now. The Falcons, 22 for 1. Just couldn't quite get going inside this power play here. Plenty of dot balls. That's another one to start off this third by Shirdhunkar, who has bowled superbly. 2 overs, none for 4. Economy rate now lesser than 2 as well. This time cut away slightly in the gap. The fielder at mid-off gets across to collect it, and only a single brings Anand on strike with that boundary in the previous over, and he needs to show some intent. Once again, just pushed on the offside, and another quick single taken. Well, this is really good by the men in blue, and they will be the happier of the two, of course, of what has happened inside the power play. And it's a wild swing, and has he found the edge? Well, waiting for the umpire's decision, and he's unmoved. And they cannot believe that it's been given not out. Well, there was a certain edge there, and now they are discussing about if it has carried to the wicket keeper. Well, eventually it seems like it's given. Still waiting for the decision. And yes, he's walking off. It's been given. He's frustrated out there, Kakkar and Shirdhonkar. He's got his first wicket. Well, he's deserved it more than anything because he's been superb with the ball so far. And the Falcons, they have lost their second now. It's 24 for 2. Would you believe it? Right then, in comes Kulal at number 4. 24 for 2 the score, in big trouble here, the Falcons. And once again, beautifully bowled. Another big appeal. Well, there is no outside edge this time. The umpire unmoved. And they are not happy with the decision now, the men in blue. Well, he was pretty convinced there, the bowler, Shirdonkar. Nonetheless, a single to close out the power play. Kulal is off the mark. It's 25 for 2 now at the end of the sixth. Alright then, 25 for 2 at the end of the sixth over. And starting off with a wide is Sony. And now charging down the wicket, he's pushed it through the offside as Kulal takes the single once again and brings Anand on strike. Well, the Falcons need a partnership. They need to stitch one. They need to do the repair work out here, Kulal and Anand. But he's bowled the leg spinner once again in the air and just past the fielder there. Inside the circle at the cover region. Another single. Well, the fielding restrictions have now been uplifted, so five fielders are allowed outside the inner ring. So, definitely an opportunity for the batters to get more singles. Will that be given as a wide? No, says the umpire. And Kulal left a bit surprised. Well, I think the umpires have done a fabulous job so far in this Japan Cricket League. Once again, nicely bowled. And that will be another wide delivery. This time it's definitely too far away from Kulal. And this time just pushed on the offside. Takes the single. And that's another single. Well, in fact, they get overthrows as well. So that is now the end of the seventh over with the score at 32 for 2. 7 runs coming out of the Sony over. Well, Shirdunkar is going to bowl 4 overs on the trot. 3 overs, 1 for 7. It's been an outstanding spell by him so far. This time just pushed on the offside. And that will be another dot delivery. Once again tucked away on the leg side. And they get across for a single. Well, in fact, overthrows as well now. This could be a chance of a run out. Well, not quite so. And Shirdonkar is just not happy at all. He wants his figures to be extremely clean. And that's a double. And that will be a swing and a miss. Once again, beautifully bowled. And now nicely driven, played upish. And once again, straight to the fielder out there in the deep. And they come back for the second. And that's another dot. So Shirdunkar is bowled out here. 4 overs, 1 for 11. Outstanding spell comes to an end. At the end of the eighth now, it's 36 for 2 for the Falcons. With Sony continuing, it's in the air and it will fall short of the fielder. This innings at the moment is not quite progressing out here for the Falcons. Once again, a full toss and driven, but straight to the fielder. And the bowling has been really good by the men in blue so far. The Falcons won the toss, elected to bat first, and it's not quite working out for them at the moment. Once again, driven, and this time it's in the gap. And now it's being swept away, and it's found the gap. It's diverted the two fielders. It's gone right between them, converging them, and a boundary, a much needed one. It's been a while now since we have seen one, and they need a plenty more of those here, the Falcons. So the last delivery of this ninth over coming up now. Once again, charging down the wicket, plays it back to the bowler. So that is now the end of the ninth with the score at 42 for 2. Right then, continuing in the 10th, he bowled the first over. He gave away plenty of wides, and now he's back into the attack. And once again, beautifully bowled. Past the outside edge. And now it's been lofted in the air. This could be a chance. Well, not quite so. The fielder does extremely well. And they come back for the second, saving a couple of runs for his side. Well, the strike rate of Kulal at the moment isn't that great. He's on 10 of 17 deliveries, supported by Anand, 14 of 18. And you would feel that the Falcons, well, they are going at a very slow rate and they would be wanting to push on at a certain point of time. Maybe now is the time. But he's pulled that one away. But once again, in the gap only for a single. In fact, could be a double as well. And they do so quite comfortably. Well, halfway through the over, 4 runs have come of it. And it seems like they are enjoying up against Singh. who gave away 12 in his first, now has conceded 4. And this is a good looking shot. And once again, the fielder does extremely well at long off to cut that one off. And 2 more runs added to the total. Well, in fact, only a single taken on that occasion. Well, ball watching for a moment, the batter, admiring his shot. Nonetheless, 2 more deliveries left. Once again, charging down the wicket, he plays it on the leg side. Once again, nothing more than a single. Well, they need boundaries though. The Falcons. It's not going to work out for them if it keeps on happening in this kind of a fashion. One more delivery left to close out the 10th. And it's been bowled beautifully. So that is now the end of the 10th over with the score at 49 for 2. Right then, 49 for 2 after 10 overs. And they are going to continue with spin now. The left arm spinner for the men in blue. Patel into the attack. Well, the projected total is 98 at the moment, and it will definitely not be enough for the Falcons. They will need much more, and they need to push on from here on. They have lost only a couple of wickets. They have those wickets in hand, although they don't quite have the runs. This time guided towards the fielder at short third. And a quick single taken. Well, that will ring up the 50 for the Falcons. 50 for 2 now in this 11th over. They have taken a while in getting it. Once again, beautifully bowled. And now he drives and in the gap once again, but only a single. Well, excellent piece of bowling by Patel once again. And it will stay at only 2 for the over. Outstanding piece of bowling. That is the end of the 11th now. It's 51 for 2. Well, these kinds of overs are going to be very costly for the Falcons later on. 51 for 2 now after 11, and it's going to be Nagy now to continue. Well, the men in blue are cruising through these overs. They're creaming it through at the moment. With the Nagy, it's a big swing, and he's found the outside edge. The wicketkeeper celebrates. They lose their third, the Falcons. And the well set Anand has to depart here for 16. Well, he had to go for it, didn't he? And it was the short stuff by Nagy. He tried to pull and found the faintest of the edges, which goes into the hands of the wicketkeeper. And the Falcons, well, in search of trying to push for runs, are losing wickets now. 51 for 3 after 11.1. Well, Telang is going to continue now at number 5. This time punched off the back foot. Nicely played by Telang. Gets off the mark straight away. Well, Kulal is back on strike. He has been out there the crease for 24 deliveries, and he should be the one to start accelerating from here. Because at the moment, this innings is literally nowhere. They need some runs. That's a swing and a miss, but given as a wide by the umpire. Well, still a long way to go in this innings, though. 8.4 overs. It's quite a lot of time, 52 deliveries. They need someone to play a nice little cameo to get them right back on track, though. Maybe a couple of overs with 15s or maybe an over with 20 will get them right back into it. And once again, beats the outside edge. Beautifully bowled by Nagy. And that's another dot delivery. Right then, we have seen about almost 50 dot balls out of the 69 that have been bowled so far. And the dot percentage has been extremely high. Now played back to the bowler. This time wanted to pull that one away, and that's another dot delivery. Well, quite a few decisions to be made by the umpires in this game, and they have done a fabulous job to keep it pretty much fair. Nonetheless, this is another excellent over for the men in blue. Once again, just the 2 runs so far and the wicket. Last ball of this 12th coming up. And he's gone for the big one. That's an excellent shot. That will go away to the fence. Well, just what they needed. The Falcons, a boundary to close it out. 6 runs is what they get in that over. Well, it's much better than the 2 that it was. And is this the moment where they just break the shackles and get some quick runs? At the end of the 12th, now it's 57 for 3. Right, then Patel is the one continuing once again, and why shouldn't he? He gave away just the 2 runs in the previous over. Well, he talks so much about the batting partnerships. How about this for a bowling partnership? Patel and Negi, they have started off really well. Well, one is not leaking any runs, applying pressure, and the other is taking wickets. Same a low full toss played on the leg side. Another single taken. A rare full toss on offer. And now wanting to go inside out, he's found a thick outside edge. And the fielder will get across. Does superbly well with his foot. And they come back for the third. So 3 runs taken by Telang. As we are halfway through this over. Well, it's the left arm spinner up against the 2 right-handers and trying to use the angle. Charging down the wicket, plays it in the air on the bounce towards the fielder at long off. A long off which is extremely wide and a long on which is extremely narrow. Pretty much straight. That is how they have set their field. This time offering a lot of flight and slightly short as well, and you would feel that he's missed out there, Telang. Patel gets away with it. Once again offering flight, another drive and a miss. So it will be 6 runs off his second at the end of the 13th. It is 63 for 3. All right, then Negi once again continuing in this 14th and once again bowls a shorter one, a back of a limb delivery, and just wanting to pick it up on the offside Kulal. Well, Kulal will have some confidence though because he hit Negi for a boundary in the last delivery of his previous over, and he is at the moment on 21 of 31. He has his eye in. He is well set. All he needs to do is just push on the score. As you can see, the projected total 95 at this current stage. It will definitely not be enough. 6 and over 104, which will also not be enough. 8 and over is something is what they would be looking at. It will be something to bowl at for the bowlers, 118. But 10 and over is what they desire, 132. They want to be somewhere around that. Not sure exactly what would be a match winning score out here, especially with the strong batting lineup that the men in blue have. Once again, another outstanding delivery. And the dot count once again just keeps on increasing. Well, halfway through the over, just the 2 runs so far. And this time picked up on the leg side. Is this a chance for the fielder? Well, not quite so. It's gone all the way. A six, the first one of this innings. Would you believe it? It's the 14th over, and finally we have got the first six for the Falcons. And it's come off the bat of Kulal, going with the pace of the bowler and just picking that one up through that leg side towards the deep mid wicket region. And there it is. That is exactly what Negi needed. A wicket followed by a six. And Kulal will have to depart. The well set batter Kulal. It's the fourth one gone for the Falcons. And it's 71 for 4. Well, as you feel that they're starting to push on now, they end up losing another wicket. The new man in is Petkar, and he will get off the mark straight away. And he takes a couple of runs. So that is now the end of the 14th with the score at 73 for 4. Well, as you can see, the batting lineup: Bovit Kulal, the pick of the batters, 29 or 35. In the end, departing in the previous over. Other than that, 16 for Abhishek Anand, who also departed up against Negi, and they have been struggling up against him. Well, not much of a contribution by Siddharth CB and Anil. As you can see, the first over being the biggest, they started off really well, and then after that, they've just lost their way here. Nonetheless, we are all set to continue once again in this over number 15. And Singh is back into the attack. And straight away, he's played that one in the air. This could be a chance. And diving forwards, it was a difficult one. Well, Singh will be disappointed. And it's a couple of runs taken once again by Telang this time. This time beautifully bowled, right in the block hole. Right then, another 5.4 overs left, 34 more deliveries. How many more can they get? Well, these two are looking good out here, Petkar and Telang. They've been positive, running those twos. But the issue is they just end up losing a wicket every time they try to get those boundaries. Well, they're just smashing the ball around on every single occasion, and this time it will find the boundary by Petkar. A low full toss and placed beautifully towards the deep square leg region. And well, the deep square leg fielder is slightly in front of square, and there was no chance for him to get across. Taking full advantage of that low full toss. Right then, where does Petkar know next? It's a thick inside edge, almost chopped it on. Beautifully bowled once again by Singh. Once again, another swing and only a single out there in the deep. And now one more delivery left in this 15th over. Well, it's been a decent one for the Falcons, you would feel. 8 runs have been conjured of it so far. How many more can they accumulate of this last delivery? Telang, the man on strike. And Telang has played that one on the leg side, but once again straight to the fielder, so it will only be a single. 9 runs come off the 15th, and it's 82 for 4. Right, then Negi bowling his third over on the trot, and once again bowled beautifully. Right into the batter. And not much that Telang can do on that occasion. Well, 10 and over from here on gets them to 132. And that is what they are searching for at the least. Well, of course, 120 would be only something to bowl at for the bowlers. We have seen scores like 135, 140 being defended here. So that is not an issue, but you want to apply some pressure on the opposition. You want to keep the scoreboard pressure. And these two at the moment are doing the job out here. Petkar and Telang. Once again, straight to the fielder. Not quite able to find the gap. Only a single. This time a thick inside edge. And it's gone past the fielder at fine leg who has the chase on. And he does get across. He does really well. And a couple of more runs taken on that occasion. Well, a bit fortuitous for Telang. Of a thick inside edge, almost chopping it on. Another wild swing. But once again, nothing more than finding the fielder. And he keeps it down to just one as well. Excellent piece of fielding. Very quick to get onto the ball. But it's more about anticipating where the ball is going to go as well by the fielders. It's not only about the batters on them anticipating where the bowler is going to bowl. The fielders also need to be ready and on their toes, and that's a perfect example where he cut that second run off because he was so quick onto the ball. Once again, not quite able to get the middle of the bat and won't quite carry, and it will find the boundary in the end, though. Well, just the boundary that they needed in this over, and some more fortune for the Falcons as they're trying to push on here in their batting innings. Well, didn't quite carry to the fielder there, and it bounced right in front. He went for the catch, and he's ended up giving away a boundary. So the last delivery of the 16th coming up. It's been an expensive one by Nagy, and once again in the air. Has he found the distance? Oh, you bet he has. Such is the power in this man. Petkar gets 10 runs of the last two deliveries. And talk about a push on. This is a big, big over. Just the kind of the over that they needed. And now they are going at more than 6 and over. And now they can think about that 130 or maybe even 140 from here on. Brilliant piece of batting by Petkar. And this is just the momentum shift that they needed. 97 for 4 now at the end of the 16th. Right then, Patel is continuing and a thick outside edge, but the short third fielder will get across. So only a single. Well, Patel has been very economical. Meanwhile, he's gone for the big one, Petkar. And he's found the distance once again. That's excellent piece of batting. He's striking the ball at 300. He's a special, special player, isn't he? Brings up the 100 as well for the Falcons. Well, they have shifted from the second gear to the sixth in no time at all. Well, this game has all of a sudden shifted like a pendulum. And meanwhile, that's a setback. Well, that has been happening. That has been happening throughout the day. But this is a nice little cameo by Patekar. It's got them right on course here, the Falcons. Fifth one gone. But what an outstanding innings. Well, a thick inside edge chops that one on. Patel gets his man. It's 104 for 5. But let's not forget the outstanding innings played by Patekar. 24 of just 9 deliveries. Strike rate of almost 300. Brilliant piece of batting. Well, this time Telang goes for the big one and he's found the distance. The second six in the 17th over. Well, Pandhari has joined in here, coming in here at number 7, gets out the mark straight away and does the smart thing of bringing the set batter on strike. And Telang, well, he might have lost his partner Petkar. He is still going to continue. And it seems like the Falcons are after all going to post a decent total out here. And the second six of the over, would you believe it? And 14 runs have come of it so far, along with that wicket of Petkar. The last one of the 17th, it's bowled onto the pad and it's a dot to end it. So that is the end of the 17th now with a score at Nelson for 5. Well, as you can see, those big towers, thanks to Petkar and Telang, over number 16 and 17 being the biggest of all. Well, the first one was a big one, but they are doing a decent job now, and they have caught themselves at more than 6 runs and over. They are going at 6.5 and over now. Well, 130 is definitely certain from here on, and they would be wanting to push to 140, which will be a decent total in this game. Well, Negi is bowling his 4 overs on the trot. He's into his final, and he has bowled a bouncer once again, this time into Pandhari. And we hope that he's all right because it struck him pretty hard. Well. Where does this innings head? Telang. He holds the key here. Can he stay till the end though? Well, if we see the wicket of Telang, we might see another stoppage in the run fest. Well, Telang, meanwhile, maybe has other plans. He's placed that one superbly well for a boundary behind square. A low full toss, and that's excellent piece of timing and placement. Well, you just can't bowl it to him on his pads, especially with the way he's set out there. And all he's done is just flick that one away behind square. Well, the field is definitely not set for a delivery like that. Well, almost every single delivery he's facing is now going for a boundary. Well, that is one of those which isn't. So only a single. Well, this time he chips it on the leg side, Pandhari. And another single taken. So Pandhari at the moment is doing the sensible job of giving the strike back to Telang. Well, the worst thing would be that he tries to go for a big shot, he gets out, and the new batter comes in, and Telang is stranded at the non-striker's end. So this is pretty good by Pandhari. Good experience cricket. Meanwhile, Telang once again goes big, but this time not quite finding the distance. And another one goes, another wicket for Negi. And that's the sixth one gone for the Falcons. Well, they needed this wicket, the men in blue, because Telang was creaming the ball around at the moment. He departs here for 25. Well, a very good catch in the end. A reverse cup once again, as we see the Falcons lose the sixth, and now it's 118 for six with 13 more deliveries left in the innings. Well, Singh is going to bowl the penultimate over of this innings. Bisht is the man on strike. Well, two new batters at the crease. Bisht off the mark of the last delivery of the previous over. And now a dot ball. Well, they will be wanting to try and restrict them to somewhere around 135 here, the men in blue. And they would feel that they have got maybe 20 runs too many. They would feel that they should have been somewhere around 100 for 6 rather than 120 for 6, which they are at right now. And meanwhile, Pandhari and Bisht would be trying to push on in the last 10 deliveries. Can they get in a couple of lusty blows here? Well, this is a very crucial juncture in this game, of course. A lot depends, a lot hinges on the next deliveries, next 10 deliveries, that is. Well, this time a low full toss, it's gone in the air and a very easy catch. Singh gets his second, Pandhari has to depart. 7 down for the Falcons. Well, once again, easy as you like. It was the slower Yorker. He was very early to that shot and a leading edge. A very, very safe catch and an easy one in the end for the fielder at fine leg. Right, then we continue here. New man comes in once again. Well, the wickets were always going to bring a huge break in this innings, and it has. As Kumar comes in, gets off the mark straight away, brings Bisht on strike. Well, Bisht is someone who can connect a couple. There is a swing and a miss. He's not a technically gifted batter, but he is someone who is very powerful. We have seen that before in the past. He is more than capable with the long handle. This time he connects, but once again it will only go straight to the fielder. Well, nonetheless, it's a good result for him. Takes the single, keeps the strike. At the end of the 19th, it's 122 for 7 for the Falcons. Well, as we can see, the bowling card out there. 3 wickets for Naveen Negi. 3 for 39. And a wicket for Vishal Patel. A couple for Love Singh as well. 2 for 18, who is the man. Seems to be in some pain out there. And Sopan Shirdonkar, what an outstanding spell that was. He got 4 overs on the trot, 4 overs, 1 for 11. And we will wait and see who will be bowling the last over. It could be either Vishal Patel, but I doubt it because don't think they would be wanting to go with spin. Could be Aman Singh, but he's been slightly expensive today. As we can see the batting card. Well, the middle order has done really well, to be fair. As you can see, 29, 25, 24. Good contributions out there in the middle, especially by Sarfaraz Petkar. 24 of just 9 deliveries. Outstanding piece of batting. And very unfortunate to get out of a thick inside edge. And now you can see Kuldeep Bisht, the man out there, along with Manjeet Kumar. But Bisht has to face the most of the deliveries from here on. He's got 6 of those. He would be thinking at least 2 out of the park, at least 2 from here on, which will help them to get close to that 140 mark. Well, other than that, On the other hand, the men in blue would be hoping to keep them below 130, not give away any boundaries in this last over, and give themselves more than a chance in this game. Alright then, the last over of the innings, 122 for 7 after 19, and Aman Singh is the man bowling it. Well, he bowled the very first over of the game, he gave away 12 in that, and he wouldn't be wanting to replicate that at all. A couple of runs taken by Bisht. Kuldeep Bisht, the man, he needs to keep the strike for as many deliveries as possible here. 5 more left. He has got a couple of runs of the very first delivery. Once again, not quite able to time that one well enough. And it's gone towards the fielder at long on, and well, he is now stranded at the non-striker's end. They've taken the single. For a moment, he was ball watching. It could have been a double had they run the first one hard. Well, nonetheless, that's a no ball as well. So now it's a free hit for Manjeet Kumar. Would you believe it? Well, we hardly saw any no balls in the first 5 games, and we see one here. This time it's gone high up in the air. Well, won't matter even if he catches it. It is on the bounce, and they take that single. Manjeet Kumar trying to smash that one. Right then, 4 more deliveries left in the innings. And Kuldeep Bisht is back on strike. And once again, wanting to go big, not quite able to get the timing and the middle of the bat. Only a single. In fact, they coming back for the second, and it will be a run out. An easy run out in the end. Excellent piece of fielding out there in the deep. And they lose another one. Well, it's 128 for 8 now. But the good thing is that Kuldeep Bisht has retained the strike. So the new man coming in will be at the non-striker's end with 3 more deliveries left. Right then, Singh against Bisht, and Bisht once again hits that one hard down the ground, but this time it will definitely be only a single. No chance of a second, unless he will have to sacrifice another player. So 129 for 8 now, with 2 more deliveries left. Well, this game can go either way from here on, for sure. And well, Mishra has done really well to push that one through the offside. Nonetheless, Kuldeep Bisht is on strike. Right then, last ball of the innings. Kuldeep Bisht on strike, 130 for 8. And Kuldeep Bisht, once again, not quite able to get enough on it. They have run the first one hard. They're coming back for the second. It will be a run out. Well, no. The bowler has made a mess of it. And now it will be a run out. Well, Kuldeep Bisht was trying to hold the ball in the end. They get a couple of runs and a run out on the third. Well, good to see that they were trying to maximize what was out there. Well, nonetheless, 132 for 9 is where they finished their innings at. Well, a brilliant, brilliant game. This is turning out to be 133 the target. It's pretty much even Stevens at the moment at the halfway stage of the game. You can't really call out on who would be fancying themselves from here on. We have seen scores like 133 being defended and also being chased out here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. All right, then we are back here for the chase. The target is 133 for the men in blue. Well, they would fancy themselves to get this though. Remember, the Falcons winning the toss, electing to bat first, and those middle overs, the over number 16 and 17, have really turned the game around. As we see Negi and Panwar out in the middle in this chase. And Kumar, the man bowling his very first over with the new ball. And this time he goes big. He's connected that one. It's a chance. Fielder. Can he take it? And he's dropped it in the end. It's just fluffed out of his hands. And that could have been the first breakthrough. That should have been the first breakthrough. Nagy should have been back in the pavilion now. And they need to take the chances here, the Falcons. Because they don't have too many to defend 133. Only 6.65 and over required. This time he drives and in the gap, and Panwar is up and running off his very first delivery with an excellent cover drive. Well, adding insult to injury for that catch drop. Well, he takes the catch. Nagy is back in the pavilion. New batter is in, but instead they have taken that single, and Panwar is on strike, and he's just got the momentum with them with that boundary. Superbly placed. And now one more delivery remaining in this first over. Five without a wicket, and it's been bowled beautifully. So that will now be the end of the first, with the score at five without a wicket for the men in blue. Well, then we continue in the second over and continuing with spin here. The Falcons, interestingly enough, well, as we played nicely in the gap, and they come back for the second. Kuldeep Bish, the man continuing, who tried his best to get some quick runs for his side. And that's a wild swing and a miss by Nagy. But he's searching for those boundaries inside the power play with only the two fielders outside the in ring. And it seems like he's going to come around the wicket now to the right-handed Nagy. So he knows what Nagy is trying. And Nagy, well, he will be wanting to go through that leg side. The angle might not favor the bowler, though. We will wait and see. There are a couple of fielders out there in the deep on the leg side. There is a deep mid wicket and a a long on which is pretty wide, more like a cow corner. Nonetheless, that's another dot. That is the end of the second. With the score now at 7 without a wicket. Well, Kumar is going to continue, and he's bowled really well. Well, an appeal for a leg before wicket, but it was definitely angling down the leg side. And once again, nicely bowled, and an attempt for a stumping by the wicketkeeper of the pacer. And there was a direct hit there. But only 7 runs on the board after 2.2 overs, and they will be happy here, the Falcons, with the way it has started it out here for them. Cut away straight to the fielder. But only time will tell on how this one will pan out from here on. Panwar at the moment. And once again, trying to find the gap, but finds the fielder. Only a single. When Negi is back on strike, he's on 3 of 10 deliveries. He needs to get the move on, and that is a big shot. And it is a colossal hit by Negi. Well, everyone out there is just watching the ball go sailing over the fence. A brilliant, brilliant strike. But he's taken 3 wickets earlier on, and now showing some muscle with the bat. Well, now one more delivery left in this third. And he's played that one pitch, won't quite carry to the fielder. That is now the end of the third. Well, they get overthrows in the end. Very unfortunate sight for the bowler. It is 15 without a wicket now after the end of the third. Well, Kuldeep Bish continuing once again in the air. Chance! Oh my word, what a catch! Oh, outstanding! Brilliant! It's out of wind. An absolute peach. He's plucked the apple out of thin air, one handed, outstretched arm, and they've got the first breakthrough. Absolutely superb. And the men in blue, they have lost their first. It's 15 for 1. Well, Nagy was smashing the ball around all of a sudden. And he departs here. It's a timely wicket for Bisht. But in comes Shastri now at number 3. 15 for 1 the score. And this is excellent piece of bowling by Bisht. He's up against Shastri now. And there is 3 consecutive dots. Well, it's been a brilliant over by Kuldeep Bisht, especially after the previous one where a 6 came off it. That's another wide swing and a miss and a stumping. He has been trapped outside the crease. Shastri will have to depart here for a duck. A double wicket over this for Kuldeep Bisht. And the Falcons have turned the game on its head all of a sudden. Well, he was walking down the track while playing that shot. And well, he's ended up staying outside his crease and the leg umpire having no hesitation in raising his finger. And it's 15 for 2 for the men in blue. Well. In comes Rana now at number 4. It's all happening out here. And Rana, off his very first delivery, he's gone for the big one. Chance for the fielder. Wicket number 3. Triple wicket maiden. What is happening out there? It's Rana with a golden duck now. And the Falcons, they are right on top. Just the kind of the over that they needed. Well, they needed a wicket or two. They've got 3 in that over. Well, not sure exactly what Rana was trying to do. It was his very first delivery. No timing. And not even able to get the middle of the bat. And the fielder, well, he was always going to get across. And that's the third one gone for the men in blue. 15 for 3. Right then, Mishra continuing now in this fifth over. Dot ball to start off. Well, they are at the moment stranded at 15. Once again, keeping that one low, skidding through the surface, beautifully bowled by Mishra. And now he's played it uppish through the offside, and that will be a boundary. That's an excellent shot by Panwar. That's his second boundary as well. And both have come in similar region. Once again, just trying to shift some momentum out here. Well, they need a partnership here. They need to stitch one. And Panwar holds the key in this innings. Beautifully placed over the fielder at cover, inside out. One of the toughest shots in the textbook of cricket. Once again, he just pushes it on the offside. And they take the single. Well, Ahmed is on strike, and somehow he has managed to survive that delivery. This is a sensational piece of bowling. They keep on continuing to get those dots. That is the end of the fifth now. It's 20 for 3 for the men in blue. Well, Kuldeep Bisht is continuing hat trick ball and he's missed out. Well, not sure if he remembered it either. Quick single taken by Panwar. Well, there is a slip in place. We are into the last over of the power play. And the Falcons, the bowling team, are right on top here. Well, runs on the board in this tournament seems to be the way to go in this Japan Cricket League. Once again, a big appeal. The umpire just not interested. And once again, driven and fielded. Well, this is the last over of the power play. And they are not able to get those quick runs. That's four consecutive dots now. Have a look at the spell by Kuldeep Bisht. 2.5 overs, 3 wickets, 3 runs. And he's bowled a maiden in that as well. And finally, he gets off the mark, does Ahmed. So that will now be the end of the sixth over with the score at 22 for 3. Right then, the fielding restrictions have now been uplifted, so 5 fielders allowed outside the inner ring, and the singles and the boundaries are, well, the boundaries are going to be difficult to come by, but the singles are going to be much more easier now, and maybe a bit more comfortable for the batters too. With Mishra continuing here, and Panwar taking that single. Well, still 110 away from this target, 110 required from 83 deliveries. And the task is a really uphill one from here on for the men in blue. Normally, they get better off the Falcons, and it will be a historic win for the Falcons if they manage to get themselves over the line. The head to it suggests that. This time pushed back at the bowler. And now Ahmed goes big. Well, he has absolutely smashed that one away for a maximum. Well, where has that one come from? Because they were really having their backs against the wall. And all of a sudden, this shot releases some pressure and, well, once again shows a statement of intent out here that they are still out there and they will be continuing with the onslaught. And they have to too. They can't afford the ASCII rate to keep on climbing up with every single delivery. And shots like those are needed. This time wanting to play that one through the leg side. And he's picked this one up once again, but not quite finding the distance and neither the boundary. The fielder will collect it and only a single. Well, still in excess of 100 required. And they would be wanting to get that down as quickly as possible. It becomes a psychological advantage, of course, when it's down to 2 digits. Well, once again, he's gone for the big one. The fielder, has he taken it? My word, he has! What a good catch! And once again, it's the same man. It's Aravind. Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. The fielding has been top notch by the Falcons. Well, we saw a catch drop, an absolute dolly in the very first over, but we have seen a couple of blinders now. And Aravind, well, He is his own competitor in the catch of the tournament. Took one with one hand and this time diving forwards. Extremely good. And they are now 30 for 4. All right then. Patel is going to continue, coming here at number six, and Mishra he's got his first wicket. Well, that was a brilliant catch by the fielder out there in the deep. And it seems like it was the end of the over as well. But this delay is because of the injury to Aravind and the process of taking that catch. Nonetheless, at the end of the seventh, it is 30 for 4 for the men in blue, and 103 more required of the remaining 13 overs. Right then, Panwar will be on strike now. And Panwar has straight away played that one on the leg side in the gap as well. That's an excellent, excellent shot. That's brilliant piece of batting. And not getting phased by the wickets lost, he's brought the target down to below 100. 99 more required from here on, from 77 deliveries. But in fact, now it is the end of the seventh over with the score at 34 for 4, and now 99 required of the remaining 13 overs. So Patel was the man who got off the mark, and now Panwar is on strike, who has hit 1 6 and a couple of fours. This time a juicy little full toss. He's missed out, you would feel, Panwar. It's been given as a no ball, and it seems like it's because of the number of players who are inside the circle. In fact, outside the circle, I must say. They've got more than five who are outside the circle. So the umpire gives that one as a no ball. Or does he? Well, in fact, he's decided against it in the end. I'm not sure what's exactly happening out there. Nonetheless, a single is what they get. And this time it's been cut away. So another single. Well, the asking rate is now in the region of a little more than 7. And they would be wanting to stay in touch with 6 wickets in hand. It's on a thick inside edge. And they get across for a single. Good running between the wickets on that occasion. Kumar, the man in his very first over. This time wanting to hit that one hard, Patel. Well, he's an explosive batter, isn't he? And this time played on the leg side. And they get a couple of more runs. Well, another excellent delivery. That is now the end of the eighth with a score at 39-4 for the men in blue. Well, we continue in this ninth, and Panwar has absolutely smoked that one through the offside. That's a brilliant hit. And all of a sudden, they are getting some quick runs and making things easier for themselves. A brilliant shot through the offside. Panwar favors that extra cover region, doesn't he? He's hit a couple of fours there, and now a six. And now good sensible cricket takes the single. And now played nicely on the leg side. Another single taken. Well, they've got the boundary of the over that was required, and now they can do it in singles. Singles will get them to 11 of the over, which is more than decent. The asking rate is only 8, so they can keep on moving in this fashion. It will be easier and easier for them later on, especially for the batters who are there to come back. But meanwhile, what has he done there, Panwar? It's a soft, soft dismissal. And once again, against the run of play, you would feel as they were trying to build this partnership, they lose their fifth wicket. Well, wanting to defend that one back at the bowler, and he's just given away the simplest of the catches to the pacer, Mishra. And the well set Panwar gone. It's 47 for 5. Right then, Shridhonkar is in at number 7. Straight away wanting to cut that one away. The scam breaker was for a quick single. This could be a chance of a run out. And they make it in the end. Well, Petkar was the man, the fielder out there. Not quite able to get the direct hit in. Well, now one more to be left in this ninth. And Patel is back on strike. Well, once again having to redo from the start. The men in blue. 85 required now from 67 deliveries, and once again they need a partnership. And they need a partnership which does not only get their eye in, which goes on for longer than expected. These two need to add at least another 45 to 50 from here on in the next 6 7 overs to give themselves a chance in this game. Well, that is now the end of the ninth with the score at 48 for 5. And Kumar continuing in this 10th. A big appeal, but once again the umpire says no. This time he guides it on the leg side. Well, no, the umpire's finger has been raised. It's a leg before wicket. And Shirdonkar also departs. They just lost their way. It's a collapse for the men in blue. Six gone now. 48 for 6. And in total disarray out here are the men in blue. Well, that one could be a bit questionable, you would feel. But nonetheless, it's been given out. And Kumar gets his first. No complaints by Shirdonkar. 48 for 6, would you believe it? Still 85 away from this target. And in comes Bhaumik at number 8. And a pretty unorthodox shot to start off. At 85 required from 62. And with 4 wickets in hand, you would feel that they basically need a miracle out here. Well, batting first has to be the key feature in this Japan Cricket League so far. Until and unless you, of course, bowl out the opposition to somewhere below 100, and then you are in with a shout. Other than that, that has been the key feature in this tournament so far. This time in the air, and is it another one gone? Yes, it is. Straight to the fielder. Well, was that a bump? Is what the umpire is checking. Well, I'm not. I don't really think it was a bump. It was a low full toss and played straight to the fielder, unless the fielder has not held on to it cleanly. Well, never a bump there for sure. But it's the catch. Maybe is what they are checking for. But it's been given nonetheless, and Bhomik departs for a duck, and Kumar gets a second. It's a double wicket maiden. and it's 48 for 7 for the men in blue. Right, then 48 for 7, and it seems like it's getting over pretty soon for the men in blue. As Patel is on strike now after the end of that over. Well, beautifully bowled by Kumar, who is continuing 2 overs, none for 13 for him. Well, Patel, I would assume that he would be wanting to smash the ball around now. There's no point hanging around. He needs some support too, though. Singh is out there. We have got a couple of Singhs coming in for the men in blue. Will that be another wide? Yes, it will be. So that will bring up the 50 for the men in blue. 50 for 7. Well, the Falcons also got their 50 in the 11th over. After 10.2 overs, they've got it in 10.1. But the Falcons were only 2 down, and the men in blue are 7 down. That is the difference in this game so far. Meanwhile, another wide by Kumar. Just not quite able to get his radar right. 3 consecutive dots. And now wanting to play that one through the leg side. Once again, beautifully bowled. And that will be another one. Well, he's bowled 6 deliveries, and only 2 of them have been legitimate. All happening out here at the Sano International Cricket Ground. Just losing his shape out here, Kumar. And he really needs to rectify it now because 4 wides is too many in an over. It's a much better delivery, pushed on the offside, and a single taken. And once again, nicely bowled. And this time pushed back at Kumar. While Singh faces his first delivery. In fact, he's faced his first, now the second. Once again, driven beautifully. And it's in the gap as well, but Petkar gets across and does a bit of footwork out there. So one more delivery left now in this 11th. 6 runs have come off it, and 4 of those were wides. And once again, an appeal for a leg before wicket, but the umpire is not interested. It will stay at 6 for the over. At the end of the 11th, that's 54 for 7. Well, two Kumars operating from both the ends. A couple of wickets in the previous over is what the pacer got. A double wicket maiden is what it was. Meanwhile, Patel wanting to go big, and is a misfield that goes away to the boundary. Well, fortuitous for Patel, and Kumar will not be happy at all with his fielder there. A deep fine leg that should have been stopped, and that should have been only a single. So 3 runs gifted to the men in blue. Once again, wanting to go big, and he's bowled beautifully well. And in fact, a mix up out there, and eventually they make it. Once again, just pushed on the leg side. And now Patel wants to go big. And this time towards that cow corner region. And it's gone away to the boundary. That's an excellent shot by Patel. That's the second boundary of the over, too. At 65 for 7 the score. Still another 78 needed. 68 rather. From the remaining 8 overs. And if Patel can keep on batting in this fashion, keep on going over by over, try and get the odd boundary here and there, and keep them in the game till the last 3 or 4 overs, anything is possible. These two need to stick at the crease till at least the 17th over from here on, you would feel. This partnership. Well, there was one more delivery left in the over, so he's been called back. Kumar. The umpires thought that the over has been completed. Not quite so. And this time a thick inside edge. It's gone past the wicketkeeper. Well, it's running away to the fence. And that's good piece of fielding. They take a couple of runs. So that is now the end of the 12th over with a score at 67 for 7. Well, 48 needed of 28. This partnership has been going along nicely, and they are keeping themselves in this game here at the moment. Patel on 26 of 23. Singh supporting nicely, 13 of 16. That's a swing and a miss. Telang bowling his very first over, the 16th one. Well, 48 needed from 27. They have taken it deep, and now maybe is really the time to launch because they can't afford to give away too many singles and doubles either. They need some boundaries too. It's another swing and a miss. Beautifully bowled. It's three swings and misses. Exceptional bowling by Telang, and he is up against one of their best, Patel, who is struggling now. 26 of 26, and the asking rate is once again just starting to creep up. It was 10 at the start of the over, and now it's gone up to 12. 48 needed from 25. This time it struck the pad, big appeal. I think there was bat first involved. Good to see Aravind. Well, he is struggling, but he is fielding with just one hand at the moment. Well, nonetheless, that's the end of the 16th. It's 86 for 7, 47 required of the last four. Well, then 47 needed of 24, and a swing and a miss. Once again, another dot delivery. Pandhari the bowler. Patel has kept the strike, but at the moment he is not having a look at the ball. He's just trying to swing and connect one and hope. Another swing and a miss. This time in the air, and it will land safely in the end. The fielder trying to get across. Very difficult chance. Well, once again in the air, and he has taken a one-handed blinder too. Well, he has already taken one with his right hand, and he has completed a hat trick of catches where he has taken one with his right hand, one with his left hand, and one a double-handed one where he got injured. That is absolutely sensational piece of fielding, even one-handed. He is one of the best out there for the Falcons. It's 87 for 7 now, and Singh has to depart at the end of the 17:46 required now of the last three overs. 46 from 18. And Telang continuing. Patel will only get a single. Well, did he take the single? I don't think he has taken it. So keeping the strike, he knows that he has to deal in fours and sixes. Sony is at the non-striker's end. And Telang, well, he's bowled superbly well. Once again, that's an excellent delivery. But it's a wide Yorker. And it just doesn't get any better than that. That's three consecutive dots now. And the task is slowly becoming impossible now. And another swing and a miss, four consecutive dots. And Patel, well, he is absolutely all alone out there at the moment. And he's just not able to connect. And whenever he connects, it's not either going to the boundary any which ways. As Telang is bowling superbly well. This time he pushes it on the offside, and now he takes the single because it is the fifth delivery. That will bring Sony on strike, who has come in here at number 10. And well, can Sony get him a boundary? No, he can't. It is just the one of the over. It's excellent by Telang once again. That is the end of the 18th, with a score at 88 for 8 for the men in blue. Well, starting off with the wide in this penultimate over of the game, 44 required of 12, and basically he needs to connect everything from here on, Patel. Well, they've just left too much to do for themselves in the back end here. There's another swing and a miss. Pandhari is getting those dot deliveries in now. Once again, a thick outside edge, and this time Marwin will not quite take the catch. But once again, it's absolutely brilliant to see the commitment as well. He's not gone on and sit. He's not asked the substitute fielder to come in. He's fielding even with his one hand, and that is excellent to see. The dedication out there for the game. Nonetheless, that's three consecutive dots now. This time pushed through the offside, straight to the fielder. But it's not quite worked out for Patel. It's not quite worked out the way that he thought about this. And now 43 required of 8. The task has become basically impossible. With Sony on strike, they need 7 sixes from the remaining 8 deliveries. And that dot ball will basically just confirm that the Falcons have won this game, barring, of course, that there are no balls or wides. Well, 7 sixes will, of course, tie the game from here on. And Pandhari with his last delivery. It's been pushed on the offside, so that is another dot, just the 2 of the 19th. It's 90 for 8. and the Falcons have won this game. Of course, if anything crazy does not happen from here on. Right then, no surprises. Telang will continue, and he will definitely continue bowling those wide Yorkers. Coming over the wicket to the right-handed batter, left-arm pacer. 43 for 6 and a wide to start off. Well, a bit of a help for the men in blue. And this time he connects. Finally, he's connected one, but once again, not far enough. And it lands safely in the end. So they take a couple of runs, jogs back for the second. Does Patel? Well, Patel started off his innings really well, but in the back end here, he's not been able to time anything, or even maybe at times get back to ball. And that has been the issue. He has tried his hard though. He has been the best batter out there for them. Once again in the air, and this time straight down the throat of the fielder at deep backward square leg. And Telang eventually gets his man, and Patel will have to go back in the pavilion in this last over. Well, a valiant effort in the end, you would feel, by Patel, because he was out there at the stage where they were 7 down, and well, he needed some support. He got some support from Singh. He almost made a game out of it, but in the end, it's just not quite worked out up against Telang and Pandhari. And Telang having the last laugh there. 9 down for the men in blue. Just 4 more deliveries left in this game. Once again in the air, chance, and that is the end of the game. Telang will take his second, and the men in blue, they are bowled out in this last over for 93, bundled out. And the Falcons have won this game by 39 runs. Well, the men in blue were the favourites to win this one, but it's been a superb performance by the Falcons. They did extremely well to get to the total of 132 and started off really well inside the power play with the ball and applied a lot of pressure. And in the middle overs, just kept on taking wickets, which made the task almost impossible. And the men in blue bowled out here for 93 in the end. And the Falcons win this game by 39 runs. Absolutely superb the way that they have won this one, the Falcons. The Tokyo Falcons also registered a victory in this match number 6 of the Japan Cricket League T20. As we see the batting card of the men in blue. Well, they started off nicely, a couple of boundaries, and then Ankit Panwar, well, he was looking really good out there, 27 of 18. But then that middle order is where they struggled. And Vishal Patel, he tried his best. He was alongside Love Singh also, with a nice little partnership for the eighth wicket to take the game deep, which was worth 39, but it didn't quite work out. And have a look at this. Kuldeep Bisht, 4 overs, 3 for 11, a triple wicket maiden included in that, a couple of wickets for Dev Mishra and a couple for Manjeet Kumar and Abhi Telang right at the end. A wicket as well for Sanket Pandhari, not to forget. 3 overs, 1 for 7 for Sanket Pandhari, that economy rate of 2.33. And if you see those economy rates, I think that has made all the difference. As you can see, over number 4, well, there should have been 3 dots. 3 wickets came in that one. 10th over, a double wicket maiden as well. That 4th over and the 10th over are the ones which have basically won them the game out here. As you can see, up until over number 16, they were going just fine, especially after the 12, 13, 14 over. And then from that over number 17, 18, and 19, there were just swings and misses by Vishal Patel, where he couldn't quite get going. And in the end, they are bundled out for 93, the men in blue, and lose out on this game. Well, as you can see, the comparison out here, they were always in front when the Falcons, and did not even allow the men in blue to get back into it. Well, apart from maybe over number 11 and 12, at that stage of the game, they were trying to push on once again. But once again, in the end, it was those long towers. As you can see, over number 16 and 17, when they came out to bat the Falcons, that really made a big difference, that over number 16 and 17, because at one stage it looked as if even 100 will be very difficult for them to reach, and they managed to post a total of 132, which was more than enough, which was required to be bowled at for the bowlers. So the match summary then, the Tokyo Falcons win the toss, elect to bat first, and they posted 132 for 8. Well, everyone almost contributing in that middle phase of the innings, but that innings by Sarfaraz Pedkar, how underrated is that? 24 of 9, and he really got them to this total of 132. Otherwise, it was looking as if they will get somewhere around 100 and 110, which definitely wouldn't have been enough. 3 wickets for Naveen Negi, 2 for Love Singh, and in response, the men in blue, they started off nicely, but lost their way in the middle overs, kept on losing wickets. Vishal Patel tried his hard and best, but in the end, Kuldeep Bish 3 for 11, Abhi Telang 2 for 8, Manjeet Kumar 2 for 18, Dev Mishra 2 for 26, and of course, Pandari 1 for 7 made all the difference with the ball. And the Tokyo Falcons win this game, this match number 6 of the Japan Cricket League, by 39 runs. Well, that was it from today. Your commentator Piyush Nathani signing off. And until next time, goodbye.